Hi, today we are going to do the theory by Alfred Adler, who worked with Freud for almost 8 years and then he separated with his own theory, and that is now come to known as individual therapy. So in this therapy, he pays more attention to the subjective reality of a person. Now, what is the subjective reality? Subjective reality, the expression is coming from the phenomenological thoughts. Phenomenological thoughts have given rise to the subjective reality concept, which is clearly used by Adler. Now, in subjective reality, what happens is that what he says is that the surrounding that the person is living in, his existence is in certain surrounding. Now, in this case, the individual is important. In the same situation, different people will react to the surrounding in a different way. One person may complain about it. Let me give you an example of the local train. Suppose if 3 people are traveling by the local train, and if you ask them about their experiences that they are having with the local train, one may say, yes, it is very difficult, but at the same time, it is one of the fastest mode of traveling and I reach my workplace on time. The another one may say that no, it is so very difficult, it is so very congested and it is very inconvenient, but what to do, I am subjected to it, so I have to do it. The third one may reply saying, what does it matter whether I like it or I don't like it, but this is the only way I have to travel and I am submitting to it. Now, the subjective reality of all the 3 people is different. One takes it positively, the other one takes it negatively, and the third one is neutral about it. So, in Adler's theory, we pay attention to the subjective reality of the person, and with this, we form the frame of reference for the client. The counselor or the therapist has to enter into that frame of reference. So it depends on what type of background the client is coming from, and the counselor has to adjust himself to enter into that world of the client from where he is coming, to understand his situation, to understand his reaction to his existent problems, and to understand his reaction to it. For all these things to understand for the counselor is important to enter into the frame of reference of the client. Now, what we say here is that what the reality is, in actual reality, is not so much important as it is for the client to react to it. That means that the same reality which is existing for everyone is not taken or experienced in the same way by different people, and how they react to this kind of reality will be individual's own expression, and that is why the Adler's theory is known as individual psychology. Now, the key concepts, as we say, in Adler's theory is that adult life is largely influenced by the first 6 years of his life, that is in the infancy. Here we see that Adler is quite in agreement with Freud. Now, the next one is that humans are motivated by social urges and not by the sexual urges as is put forward by the Freud's theory. Now, social urges are that the people want to be Now, for example, people want to be working, they want to be accepted, they want to be growing in their in their profession or in their studies. Whatever is the surrounding, people want to be existing in that surrounding and make themselves capable of being able to adjust to that particular surrounding. Now, the other concept that is very, very important, and I feel it is one of the most strong point that Adler has put forward, and that is the inferiority is normal for humans. Instead of weakness, it is wellspring of motivation and creativity. Now, how do we explain this? Inferiority is human beings are one of the weakest of the species that we see. We have other animals, we have even smallest of the virus and smallest of the bacteria, which can definitely take over our entire life. We see this happening in the coronavirus case. We have got so much of scare of this virus. It is such a tiny thing, but it is controlling the entire world today. It is also controlling our economy, our social life. In all the different ways, it is controlling us. That means we are helpless in front of this tiny virus that is existing. So, this kind of inferiority, what is it leading us to? It is wanting us to find out the vaccine, find out some kind of solution so that we can control this spread of virus and we can have our comfortable life back to us. But is it that very easy? No. But as long as this threat of corona or any other virus for that matter exists, we are all the time experiencing this threat from them. This is all the time reminding us of the inferiority of the human species, and that is motivating us to go ahead and become more and more creative, more and more work that we can put in finding out the solution for that. So, inferiority actually is pushing us to become more creative, and we become more motivated to come out and become more powerful than that virus. Now, consciousness is the center of personality that stresses choice and responsibility. So, we have seen last time in Freud's theory that consciousness is the outer layer of the mind. It is like iceberg. It's only 1/10 of the iceberg which is seen on top. Similarly, in our mind also, it is only almost like 1/10 of the mind is made up of our conscious awareness. Rest of the mind is filled with the background, which is the unconscious mind. Now, this is also very important because the conscious mind is the one that is prompting us to make decisions, to behave in a certain way, and it is unconscious mind which is at the back. Unconscious is there at the background. It is pulling strings, and of course it is also very active, making us decide on certain things, and our choices, etc. are dependent on that. Our general personality, everything is based on the unconscious part of the mind. Now, because the consciousness is the one that is deciding about our behavior and our choices in our day-to-day life and our very important part of our personality, it becomes the source of all the behavior that we display, and that is the one behavior then becomes. We don't do anything without a goal. We always have a purpose in whatever we are doing, and that is prompted by the conscious part of our mind. So, not the heredity or or environment, but our innate capacity to create, the individual's innate capacity to create, influence and interpret events. Like I gave you the example of 3 individuals traveling by the local train, and each one of them is expressing their experience in a different way. It is not that they are traveling by any different compartments or any different trains. No, it is the same thing, same environment, but their reaction to it is different. So this kind of conscious awareness is influencing and interpreting the events. That is our part of our very important part of our personality, which is making us. Actually, people see us from that point of view. Some people, we say he has a habit of complaining all the time. We say about another person, he is very positive. Why don't you go and talk to him? He may be able to understand you better. So this is how we try and make our own opinions about different people. Now, Adlerians have got a very specific function, and they focus on reshaping the society. So when the client comes to the Adlerian counselor, the counselor's focus will be in making him understand that whatever environment you are living in, like you cannot change that environment, right? So you need to understand that you have to accept it. The more you accept it, the more you will be, less you will be bothered about how you are suffering or how very difficult things are. You may be able to take things in a more positive way. In this manner, they want to, their focus should be on the changing of the personality of the person, the entering into his frame of reference, and focus on reshaping his way of thinking. And this the Adlerians do by working with teachers, working with the social workers, and they want to educate these people who can carry forward their own views and help them to reshape the society in general. They are, that is why, also interested, and their function becomes to re-educate the individuals, changing the way the person is thinking. Now, internal determinants of behavior, like how do we determine and what is a part of our personality is our values for things, our beliefs in things, then our attitudes towards things and the people and the situations and all. Then what are our goals? How are they actually driving us towards achieving something, and how our today's behavior is based on the goals that we have in our life. Then our interests, whatever our interest that we display, maybe our interest is in some maybe education or some hobby we have, or our interest is in improving our lifestyle or our standard of living and giving better education and bringing up our children in a best way possible. So these are the main focus on which the Adlerian therapists they work, and this is individual's perception of reality. It is based on the individual's perception of reality, what that person thinks. One person may think, yes, if I work hard, maybe I can give a better life to my family. Another person may think, living in the same situation, he may think, nothing can help, I don't have any influence, I don't have enough backing from my family, etc., etc. So there are a lot of negative thoughts that are coming up, and that is a function of the conscious part of his mind. So Adler, on the whole, was a pioneer of holistic, social and goal-oriented theory with the humanistic approach. So these are the things that influenced Adler, and that is how his theory was formed. Now, the individual psychology is based on the idea that the person is not living alone. He is not living on some isolated island. He is living in the society and he is influenced by so many factors that are working in the society. So, we also have the human being who has a purpose, but he is not isolated from his surrounding. So, his purpose has to be worked within those limitations that are formed by the society. So it is like, as I explained to you earlier, it is our inferiority, it is our feeling of inferiority, it is our feeling of helplessness which drives us, which motivates us towards more of creativity, and it motivates us to become more competent in our life. Now, lifestyle is unique for every person. No two people, even if they are living in the same family, in the same house, having the same kind of background, are same. Each one will have their own thoughts, their own way of behaving. Their dressing may be different, their way of making friends will be different. So, not even the same people or even siblings will have the same kind of behavior, and that makes each person's lifestyle different. Sorry. And it leads to achievement of goals in their own way. It is individualistic. How I may achieve my goal may not be the same for another person who is my colleague or my classmate following the same path. No, it will be different. So, people of the same, students of the same teacher also may think differently, behave differently, and their approach to the subjects also will be different. Now, social interest refers to the community. It is community based, and how we want to become a part of our community, how we can contribute to our community, how the community is influencing our behavior. All that is based on the social interest, how much we want to be a part of that community based on that. Now let us see the therapeutic techniques and the procedure. The first thing is, of course, as in most of the cases, it is establishing a collaborative relationship between the counselor and the counselee. Then second step is to explore the lifestyle. What is the way the person is living, and is there anything that is bothering him or disturbing him in his lifestyle, and how he is affected by it. So we get into the family constellation, like say whether he is the eldest son, whether it is the only daughter, whether it is the only son, or is the youngest in the family. All that affects the person's position in the family, and accordingly it affects his lifestyle as well as his thinking and his living pattern also. Earliest memories and feelings and thoughts related to them, all before the age of 9. Now here we are going back to Freud and trying to understand what are the early experiences that the person had and how it has affected. See, in many families we see that they were very rich when the person was born, and he was brought up in a very, very lavish manner. But later on, the family situation changes. So maybe they were having a palatial house, we were living in joint family, now they were separated, nuclear family, the income of the family is reduced, and people are less to take on the responsibility. So naturally the person is also given more responsibility in the family, etc., etc. There are so many different factors that can change the person's way of thinking and living, and that becomes an important factor to be considered, and how it has affected its personality. Exploring dreams and understanding prioritization what is important for that person, whether education or money or family, or what is important, how he is prioritizing his life with all the things that are making his personality and reacting according to that. Exploring dreams is again like in the Freud's theory, we have seen how dreams are a royal road to our unconscious, and even in Adler's case, we do try and understand how they are affecting and how they are trying to display our inner thoughts. Then there is integration and summary. Separate summaries are given in short intervals, which is generally the case in most of the counseling processes. Then there is encouraging insight through interpretation, confrontation. Focus is on here and now situation, not only on what happened when you were a child and when you were just before 6 years of age, but what is happening today in your life, how your situation is and how you are taking it. That is what is subjective reality. How you are taking things in life, how the today's situation is affecting you. And then through empathetic and intuitive understanding that leads to client's realization of the part the client is playing in creating that situation for himself or herself, helping with reorientation by using various techniques. So we have many techniques that are used in Adler's case. So this is where the Adler's theory is giving us a good idea about how the subjective reality affects the person's life and how it is also making it either acceptable or unacceptable for the person by entering into the person's frame of reference. Thank you, and we'll be going to the technique part in another. So this was Chapter 5, Adler, and we have seen part 1 where we have explained the theory, and now we shall go to part 2 where I'll be explaining the different procedures and the techniques used which are connected with Adler's theory. See you.